Guys, welcome back on the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Guys, on our special occasion, little midweek podcast that we do every month called Passion. I have a guest with us today, Josh, who is a designer, and we're going to geek out and we're going to talk. We're going to just let our minds flow. And then got G-Man with us in the house as well. But yeah.
How's it going, Josh?
Yeah, everything's good. How are you guys doing?
Good, bro. As you know, just hustling, man.
Yeah.
Just hustling, surviving. But it's been all good, man. Can't complain, man. How's things with you, bro? What you been up to? How's everything going with you?
Yeah, things
busy,
are
yeah?
okay. Same as everyone else, really. Hustling, working hard, doing as much as we can on a daily basis. It's a difficult time for us all, but it's try to stay as positive as we can. Keep moving. It's good, obviously, that some people have kept busy. Myself as well. I've been non-stop. Feel like it's been non-stop for a good few years, even before all this virus has come about. But I'm thankful that I haven't been so hard affected as much as everyone else. But yeah, just keep doing it. Keep grinding as hard as everyone else is doing, really.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, it's good that you keep me busy, man. Me and Josh, it's crazy. Me and Josh met in Hong Kong. In the gym, Epic. Remember that, bro? And we just kind of I remember you started and we just kind of chatted once and we just vibed, man. And we had this, we just knew like the vibe of Hong Kong. We kind of vibe because of the vibe of Hong Kong and how it's like. We're not going to get into the vibe of Hong Kong. Let's not get into that. But we just knew, like, and two London boys or UK boys, we were just like, yeah, we're feeling the same vibe, yeah. And then since then we just clicked, man. And then I remember you came over to mine, and we watched UFC. And then he saw all the figures, and then Josh started geek. I didn't take you for like a geek, and Josh started geeking out. Bro, do you remember?
I remember you had the Batman quote.
Yeah.
I think it was from the first film, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was the first one. About what was it said? It said something like it's not about who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
Yeah.
And I remember you had that on your wall, and I was wow. I was like, and you like the M&Ms, and it was
it
was like a match made. I remember.
Well,
it was it was. I think it was just the London thing as well. See, being away from UK, being away from London, and then meeting someone so like-minded.
That was it. Right?
It was just it was very easy to get on with each other and get to know each other. So it was quite good.
Yeah, no, that was it. That's what, as you said, like we were very like-minded compared to the people we knew in Hong Kong. Again, I'm not gonna go into that, but compared to who we knew and whatnot, we like, oh shit, okay, you're from the ends. But I remember you were geeking out, and I hope you don't mind me exposing you. So I remember you were telling me about your Batman sign, your Batman birthmark. You're like, bro, G, check it out.
I do.
I was born.
I can't get it out now, but it looks like a Batman sign.
Sick.
I have a little birthmark on the left shoulder, and it's funny because I don't want to get into it too much, but I had a crazy accident when I was 14, but luckily nothing really happened to me. Like severely, but I recovered quite well, and I always kind of thought, as a child, you think you're unbreakable, you're invincible. So I used to go around saying I'm Batman, I'm Wolverine, I'm all this. It's something that it's very good to I guess not to aspire to be a superhero, but obviously they do have good values, so it's something we can definitely take from as well.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I agree.
That's one thing I've taken from there as well is the good value that you can give back to people, and how it resonates with us. I mean, that quote when you saw it on the wall, that is like that's my personal motto. Whatever I can do that defines me. That it is so important that I can leave that sort of legendary mark. Left back here, and
it's leaving a legacy.
Exactly.
Continue after you're gone as well. So. Yeah.
Exactly. And even between us, it doesn't have to be a legacy on the world and be famous and shit. No. It's just about between us, family, friends, and whatnot.
The people that matter, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. But apart from we'll get into designer stuff in a bit. But
Okay.
apart from that, like the other stuff you do with your PT, right? You do some personal
Yeah.
training stuff. So that's how we met initially. And
Yeah.
I mean, how did you get into that? Did you know when you were young that health and fitness is what is gonna kind of lead you to where you are now?
It's a good question. I would say where it derived from in terms of just health and fitness and doing like that. I would probably say it came from my parents initially. That's when it first started. So my dad was a heavy lifter. He lifted a lot of weights. He kind of grew up here in London. He came over here when he was 9 from Barbados. And I kind of just grew up around him training, my mum training as well. They were both heavy into training just before going to work. So I would see that growing up. So I really, I think for my 16th birthday, because they wouldn't allow me to train or lift weights before I was 16. So for my 16th birthday, they got me the gym membership. Everyone probably knows in North West London, it was fitness first and stuff like this. And everyone will go down. And so they'd have like family sessions before I was 16, so I could go into the gym. And I would try to get onto the weight machines, but everyone was saying, "Oh, you're not allowed. You can only do cardio, so you can only go on the treadmill and stuff like that." And I was always like a skinny kid, so I didn't want to do any more cardio. So obviously for my 16th birthday, I got into the gym, just started lifting weights, and then long story short, that's where it derived from in terms of just passion for training and keeping healthy. And then I did actually architecture at university. But then I graduated like just after the recession, so there wasn't really anything about. And I think one of the worst hit industries after that recession in about 2009, it was the design industry, sort of design engineering and stuff. So there wasn't really many design opportunities around. So I decided, okay, I was still training all through uni. And so I decided, okay, let's get my personal training qualification. So that was 2010 I qualified. And I didn't really get into it straight away. I kind of just did it because all my friends were saying, "Oh, you should train us, you should train." So I tried to take that seriously a little, but I didn't actually get into the personal training element until later on in life. But yeah, I tried to keep up with my designs all through this time. But that's how I kind of stumbled along personal training. I took it seriously probably about 2015, 2014, like seriously. And then that's when I moved over to Hong Kong. Started personal training over there, and that's when I met you, 2016, right?
Wow.
Oh crap! Yeah, 2016. Yeah. So wait, so once you got into it deep, you moved to Hong Kong as soon as it happened, like.
Yeah, well, I kind of took personal training. I was training as a self-employed personal trainer for people probably don't know LA Fitness. It was around, obviously, UK.
I remember LA Fitness.
Yeah. I think it got bought out by Pure Gym.
Yeah.
So Pure gyms that are around, they kind of used to be LA Fitness, but yeah, I mean, so I did. I was personal training there for about a year, self-employed. So it was a big jump into something where I didn't really have that security for money coming in every month. It was something where I had to go out, and so I guess that was my introduction into this world of trying to do something for yourself. And it kind of just happened organically because I just thought, okay, let me try this, and it worked out. It worked out quite well. I was quite fully booked as a personal trainer. So a fully booked PT would probably say they would probably like around about 20 to 30 hours a week. So it's not full time, but it does take a lot of effort, let's say, mentally and physically. So I would probably say I was quite fully booked within the first 3 months. So that's quite good.
That's wicked. How did that make you feel? Like, did you get like, because that's like a big jump, right? From just getting into personal training and then being fully booked within 3 months. Like your first experience teaching someone or giving a PT to someone, did you feel nervous? How did you handle those nerves, man? How did you organize it in your head?
It's a good question because I did the 2010 qualification. So that's when I got my actual qualification. So up leading to that, what you're supposed to do as a personal trainer is you're supposed to try and get some, just kind of get a feel for the gym floor, go and do some sessions for free, kind of trial sessions. So I kind of did that a little bit going up to 2015, taking it, very seriously. But I would work in so many different gyms. I worked at Virgin, but these were positions where, you don't really have that many. You don't really have this position much anymore. It's called the fitness instructor or the level 2 instructor. So it's something where I can take classes and, build up your confidence like that. I'm also a qualified spin instructor. So I used to do a lot of spinning classes in many different gyms all over London. So I kind of built up the confidence. I was able to sell myself quite well. So I think going into personal training full time as a self-employed personal trainer, I think it was comfortable for me. It wasn't too daunting for me. It was just something I go in and I'll just try my best. I'll be there anyway, training. So people would kind of come up to me when I'm training, say, "How would you do this?" And I didn't really see it as something where I have to try and make money straight away. It was more just trying to get to know the members in the gym, and I think that's what you do is as a personal trainer. I'm not sure if it's still like that at the moment, but it's something when you go in, you become part of the furniture of the gym, and that's what personal trainers are supposed to do. They're not supposed to there to try and sell. It's all about just trying to help and be be the guy that people come up to and say, okay, this guy's quite good for, ab exercises, or this guy really helps you because he really cares about our fitness, our journey. And that's what I tried to initially do at the beginning, and it just paid off because people can sense the, I feel I was genuine, so people can sense that straight away, and I think that helped.
That's good.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times where people chase the money, whatever you're in, right? When you chase the money pure focusedly, shit just never works. I mean, maybe for some people it works out, but just generally, just shit don't work out. But when you do it for a genuine reason, like be it your passion or be it you want to help someone, things just happen to work out. So it's good to hear, man. How did you end up in Hong Kong? What made you go to Hong Kong? How did that all come up?
That's a good question.
Because we haven't mentioned, like, because your missus, she's a dietitian, or what's the right word?
Nutritionist. She's nutritionist.
Sorry, I shouldn't disrespect.
I'll say that. Dietitians don't like between dietitians and nutritionists. So.
Okay, yeah, my bad.
So she's got a very holistic approach to her nutrition and stuff. But yeah, so she I met my wife actually in the gym in 2013. So it was a gym that I was working at. Again, I was kind of in and out of the personal training. It was a gym in Russell Square in the middle of London. So
what, the Fitness First?
This one was actually called Ballantyne's.
Oh,
So
I used to.
do
you remember
the guy that was on Dragon's Den, like the early episodes of Dragon's Den? I think his name's Duncan.
Okay.
He was one of the guys that kind of invest in different ideas. So he has a whole gym chain.
Oh, that's wicked. Because do you remember there was a Fitness First in Russell Square, if I remember correctly, and I used to do capoeira there, and my capoeira class was there. Yeah, my teacher used to be there.
In the basement.
Yeah.
So Ballantyne's was the rival. That was our rival because they were literally, I would say, yards from each other.
Yeah, we had and I used to work in Gray's Inn Road, I think, which wasn't too far from Russell Square. I remember I used to be able to run there. Yeah. So there's a capoeira class, and at lunchtime I used to just run there from my work and just do a quick session. Oh, cool, man. That's all right. Sorry, I stopped you. So you met her in that gym.
I met her there. She was actually working for Bloomberg at the time. So she was living across the road from the gym. So she's passionate. She's got a passion for training as well. She grew up in Asia, and she used to do like a lot of Muay Thai, a lot of like Thai kickboxing with her dad. She used to do some weights. Training was part of her. It's part of her as well. It's part of her life. So we met in the gym. It was very nice. We clicked so easy, and literally I would probably say within 2 years, after 2 years of meeting her, we got married. So So we met in 2013, got married in the end of 2015, and it was because she grew up in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Parents were still there. I decided, okay, let's try and get out there and, just experience a bit of Asia as well. Maybe do a bit of traveling, go around to different countries. We did Thailand.
Was she becoming a nutritionist like while you were together, or did that come after? Like when she was working in Bloomberg, was it her idea that she wanted to be nutritionist?
So she's all, like I said, she's always been passionate about the training, and just being fit and healthy. And so she's always been interested in the nutrition element. She's always wanted to. She's the most genuine person you'd ever meet. She's just, even one of my colleagues at the Ballantines, one of my colleagues said to me about her, I can't believe how nice Maya is, that she really cares for everyone. Like, not necessarily everyone, but the people that she does care about. And when she wants to have a genuine conversation with you, she will give you 110% attention, and that's it. So, she's always been interested in it, but she got into it while we were in Hong Kong. So she worked for Bloomberg. She didn't really like the corporate life anymore. She was really good at it, but her dad's actually in finance as well. So she kind of thought, okay, this is the best thing to do, get into Bloomberg and get into it like that. But yeah, her real calling was health, fitness, nutrition. So she kind of qualified after that when we went back to Hong Kong.
Oh, wicked. She's living my dream. She's living my dream that you know about, that I want to live when I'm 45. She's living because I'm working at the Wall Street Journal. We're competitors and whatnot, but she's literally living my dream now. Yeah. I'll be there in 10 years, man. Give me 10 years, I'll be there.
That's it. You could be there sooner, I'm sure.
I hope so. So yeah, so you guys moved out to Hong Kong, and then did you you got the job in Epic, right? You guys found a job together in Epic. You actually worked together there.
Well, yeah, I mean, Epic was a growing company at the time. It was a fast expanding company, and they were, you knew, obviously Epic started from having sort of like a very strong MMA base. There was a lot of instructors, a lot of world-class instructors that actually fought professionally. So you had
Alberto Mino was there, and he was ex-UFC fighter. I don't know if he still fights for UFC and whatnot.
But he had a fight while he was employed.
Yeah.
So you got these top fighters around the world who actually taught classes. So they wanted to expand to more of the mass product mass people. So just looking at the fitness side of it, looking at nutrition. So I got in as a personal trainer, specializing in sort of body weight, parkour sort of training as well. And then Maya was introduced to the company as well because they wanted to kind of expand the nutrition element. So helping members with their obviously diets and plans and stuff like that. So that's how we got into Epic. And
I remember. Sorry to cut you. I keep cutting you. Sorry, bro. But when you mentioned parkour, I remember doing one of your classes, bro. I remember jumping around like a fucking like Batman and shit. I remember you're like, look at this ninja. I remember that clearly, bro. I remember like you had that remember that little setup where they done the CrossFit and whatnot. And you just set up a little obstacle course and shit.
Yeah.
I remember that. Damn, I forgot you done the parkour stuff as well. That's crazy.
We had what did we have? We had. There was a section where it was very difficult to do parkour inside, right? Especially in Hong Kong. There's not a lot of space. So, but obviously you have to train people up to build up their confidence and build up their there's a strong foundation, like a very strong core. Because a lot of the parkour moves, you have to be able to lift your own weight, you have to be able to jump high enough. So we're building up that explosive power in your legs, that dynamic movement that you must you must have in order to go all out and have that energy to be able to pull, jump up these. I think I used to stack these boxes. Metric boxes that they use for CrossFit, and I think one's about 20 to 24 inches high, and I used to stack 3. So you stack 3 on top. You're looking at least 60 inches, and you have to be able to jump up, pull yourself up onto the box, jump back down into a parkour roll. And then, but yeah, it was a bit crazy at the the time. It was a bit crazy.
I remember doing one of those classes. Yeah, that's jokes. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time in Epic. Met a lot of good people. So
Yeah, definitely, man. And then from Epic, because you guys left before I did, right? You left come back to the UK before I
that's
moved
it.
to
That's it.
Singapore, right?
So we left. We were there maximum for about just over 2 years.
Yeah.
We came back 2018, I think it was.
Mm.
Yeah, and then after, but so during Epic, like I said, we decided to develop. We wanted to, so basically going back to my LA Fitness kind of personal training days. I did always come up with a few obstacles. So these obstacles, when you're trying to go follow, or you're walking the gym floor, you try, obviously as a personal trainer, you have to make money, so you're trying to get business, of course. And I would always come up with two obstacles, and these obstacles would be one, the member has no time, zero time for personal training. And the other one would be they don't have enough money. So I was like, okay, how can I really work around these two obstacles? I have to make the workouts faster, where they can just do something very quick but make it effective. And obviously I have to make it more affordable for people. So there was this one guy who was a personal trainer there, this Australian guy, very, very knowledgeable and ahead of his years, I would say. But he decided to sell these programs online. I guess everyone's doing that now, but back then I felt it was very early. It was very early time to sort of sell programs, sell plans online, basically try and get into that digital space.
That's right.
So that's what I decided to try and do. But because I was still just my first kind of stint into real personal training, I kind of didn't really take it as serious as I could have back then. So it was always a thought in the back of my mind, okay, let's try and do something online to trying to sell, not necessarily personal training, because it can't be really personal online, but just to give some sort of direction for people in their health and fitness. So that idea started in 2015, and it's now organically grown to where we are at the moment. So where I'm trying to, well, my wife and I, and try to develop this app.
Cool.
So now it kind of grew into a sort of app idea just before we left Hong Kong. And now we're working with developers in Russia to now create this app that we have coming up. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, this
Awesome.
is the next part of your journey, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much you could talk about it, so just feel freely to talk about what you can.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about it for a while, and like you said, right, even though you're thinking about 2015, since I've known you, you've been talking about it. And the one thing I know about you and your missus, you guys have been on it. Some people have ideas and they're amazing and whatnot, but they might fall out within a year or 2 years if they don't see progress, if they don't see, income or whatever. But as you said before, like getting into your personal training, it was more about helping people, more about rather than the money. And you've applied that same mentality, and that worked out. Now you apply that same mentality with this app because you've been hustling. Every time I speak to you, I know you're like, with this step closer, with this step, but you're hustling to get it to where you really want it to be, rather than then giving out some half-assed product and whatnot. But but no, every time, man. And I'm like I said, I mean, I appreciate that, and I respect that level of like hustle that you're putting into it, because you could have easily done something in a year, 2 years, and be like, yeah, cool, send it out and see what happens. But talk about the process, man, and just share what you can at this moment. If you got a name or whatever that you can share with it, but share freely what you can at this moment. Don't give away all your secrets and shit.
Of course. Yeah. Okay, so I'd probably say to start off with, I'm a perfectionist. Probably being a designer yourself, or create, being an artist, it's something you have to get right before you present your work, right? That's just kind of how it works. So I've always been into like design. I've always been into drawing. My thing was always, I just take a pencil. I don't deal with color. I don't really deal so much with color back then. But it was something where I take a pencil, try and do as much as I can before releasing it or giving it to my teachers or anything like that. So that it came from that, and so I'd probably say that's one of the main reasons why it's taken so long, because like I just feel there's always something you can improve, but there is. But then that's why I'm more of the crazy guy that just does all the designing and making sure, like, I'm like, the developers, they can't get this right, make sure they get it right. And but then my wife Maya, she's the one that says, okay, look, this needs to be done. Like, if it weren't for her, we wouldn't be where we are. We'll probably be still back at step one if it was just me. I'm telling you, it would take me a good another 10 years to get this up and running. But she's the one that just, gets things done. So I'll probably say it stems from that for why it's taken so long. But it's at the moment what it is. It's like a fitness app. So like there's so many fitness apps at the moment. So we've kind of joined forces into training and the nutrition, and we're putting it together. And it's an app where it's a very social fitness app, let's say. So it's an app where you can it's not about just training. Obviously you train by yourself with an app. That's kind of how apps work. But at the end of the day, it's something where you can kind of socialize at the same time as training. So you can kind of sometimes train the same workout, or you can create your own workout and stuff like that. And it's a good way to have to build a sort of community through fitness. That's basically what it is. It's a lot. There's a lot of different features. So we have the recipes in there. We have some different articles and stuff like that, like fitness tips. We also have sort of different types of workouts. So we're trying to bring not just standard body weight training, as in your squat, your push up, your mountain climbers. We're trying to make it a little bit more functional. That's what it's all about. It's all about being functional. And as we grow older, we do tend to lose what we could have done when we were kids. We're not as flexible. We're tight in our hips. We're tight in our shoulders. You get some of these guys that just lift weights all the time, that can't even scratch their back and stuff like this, and I feel that this is where some of them, I'm not saying all of them, there's a lot of pro bodybuilders that can do the splits and stuff, so I'm not saying all of them, but yeah, definitely so the reason why we've started this, just for people to understand that that fitness and health, health and fitness is all about integrating it into your lifestyle. It's not like a quick plan that you change after 12 weeks. So something where we want to generate and build that community where you have like-minded individuals that want to train, that want to get fit, that want to just be healthy, but training for not just for looks or vanity, is training for that longevity, training to be healthy, to see your kids grow up, to have, to show your kids good habits. It's all of that. It's all of that. It's all of that in one. And so it's all a lifestyle. There's a lot of lifestyle fitness apps at the moment, but I can't really tell you everything, how we're different until you see it.
No, of course.
That's what I'm saying. So it's until you see it, we are doing something a little bit different, and I am looking forward to it. Oh,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I know briefly before we started the podcast, you were talking about how it's like when you're doing everything. You're doing the marketing, you're doing the checking the designs, it's a lot to take on, and I know that personally because of the amount of work that I do with my stuff. Like you guys, like me and my wife, we share some of the responsibilities when it comes to some of my workload. And responding to, like, as you said, marketing, social media is another part where you need another 2-3 hours of the day to respond to people, or to find out which clients are going to come through, which jobs you're going to take. Sometimes you have to say no, and for me, I'm like, don't say that. But then it was like, she goes like, if you're not going to have order, you're going to be stacked, and then you're not going to be creative after that. Definitely. How have you managed your timing with things like that?
Everything, I would say, everything is scheduling. Everything is all scheduling. So we use a program called Notion. I'm not sure if you know that one, but it's we just use that for everything. So because it integrates, I can see hers, you can see mine,
Yeah.
And any ideas that we have, sometimes I'm sleeping, and I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah, that would be good. This would be good for the app, or this would be a good feature to have, or logistically this would work better. So literally just write it down, and then as soon as I wake up, probably I'll upload it on Notion. So scheduling is the key thing. And if you don't have everything down, you're just gonna have these thoughts in your head. Because as soon as you write it down, it's just something you can kind of let go, because you've stored that information. So, but yeah, I mean, being marketing is the worst for me. So I was never really into Facebook and stuff when that kind of grew up. I've never really got it properly. Never really used it. Instagram as well. So it's something where I really need to kind of. It's not say I don't really kind of want to get into it, but I've always been a sporty guy. I've always kind of been into my sports and socializing in person. Right. That's kind of what I've done growing up. I've always been a kind of team player. Wanted to do basketball. I used to actually arrive to school. So basically, I lived in. If people know this, I lived in. It was Kingsbury at the time. So this is around sort of Wembley area, right?
Yeah.
I used to go to school in Ruislip. So it was probably a good hour or hour and a bit on the train and the buses and stuff. So I used to get the bus in the morning to the station, get the train to Wembley Park, change for another train to get to school, and then walk about 15 minutes from the station. So the whole thing would take about an hour and a half. But because school started at 8:45, right? I would leave. I'll probably leave about 6:30 or something, just so I could get to school before, right?
Yeah.
Just before the class starts, so I can play football.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was getting early, maybe watching a bit of Dragon Ball Z while I have the cereal. and then it was straight on the journey to school just to play football, just so I could play football before it started. But so I mean, it's because of that. So I'm going. I always talk on a tangent.
No, it's fine, man.
So I've never really been into this sort of. I've always been into tech. I love my tech gadgets and stuff, but going socially, posting, taking photos, writing stuff like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Even before Facebook, I think it was MySpace and all of these kind of people. And I was just never really into it, because I'll just be like, oh, let's just go play football, and chill, and go to the bar afterwards or something like that.
Yeah.
You saved yourself.
You saved yourself.
You done
well.
Once
you're in,
it's hard to come out, bro. Listen, man, it's hard to, honestly, man, I find myself, I use Instagram a lot, and I just find myself just scrolling. When I'm not doing nothing, watching a movie, just scrolling. Why am I on this shit? You know what I mean? But just find it. I'm not, Instagram and Facebook I use, but it's hard to switch off, and it's hard to not check it unless, you know what I mean? No, it's good. You saved yourself,
You saved yourself. You're like my friend Dwayne. Right. He didn't even have the internet until 5 years ago.
Wow.
No, seriously, bro. My best friend, I love you, D, but even on his phone, he didn't have no social apps, nothing like that. But because we grew up just like you, that era where we were sporting, we were going out, we were I'm going way back, have to go to a phone box and say, call me at this certain time.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so we can meet up to wherever we're going next, whether we raving or whatever. So I'm in that era, but then slowly I've been taken by the dark side of social media. But then I realize, how we're using it now, it's the use.
Yeah,
it's how you use it.
It's how you use it,
and the messaging that you push out there. And I take regular breaks. I'm gonna take a break soon, but if you're using the platform to give out a positive message, then as long as people know, because I always say it, I think we say it daily on the podcast as well, that that human interaction is needed. And I know that it's been quite a tough year for people to be with friends and family at the moment because of the way things are. But just don't get lost into that, man. Think of something else, as health is the most important key thing. Be looking after yourself so that you are still there next year. And how this virus has taken over without having good health. I mean, he had it. He most of the family had it. They good immune systems. They fought through good food.
Yeah.
They're back on their feet. But I know this virus acts in different ways, so different people react to it differently. So, but it is sending that message across. That's the main important part of it. But you'll learn. I mean, because you haven't been in that part. Let's call it the Matrix. Yeah, he hasn't been in the Matrix yet. But that's a different part of the Matrix you haven't been in yet. But later on, you'll find tools to do the work for you. And give me a shout, because those are the tools I use as well. So I can give you some advice on some of that.
Thank you.
Because I know how hard marketing is. I'm in marketing myself. I've been doing it 10 years plus now. So it takes hard to build up a following and keep pushing with the same messaging and making sure that you don't go away from the original dream.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said before, originally, it's a passion. It's something that you believe in. It's something that you've been doing. Doesn't matter how long it takes, you're doing it. That's the main thing.
Plus, your social media is going to be focused. So I got on it. I'll use myself. I got on it just to be on it, right? So literally social media. But when you're getting on it, you're gonna have focus, and that's what you're gonna be pushing. You're not gonna be on it just to be like, what the fuck's girls doing squats? That's me, right? So you're gonna be wasting your time doing that shit. But I think you can use it more wisely. You know what I mean? Like in a focused way, and definitely to kind of. Because social media will help, you know what I'm saying, to promote the app and all that sort of stuff.
I mean, it's definitely something that I've got into in the last couple of years. I wouldn't say I would say a regular user of it just yet, but it's something I'm dabbling in at the same time as doing obviously the personal training and the designing and stuff like that. But I do, like you said, it is something. It's how you use it, and it's not like I'm trying to be the next influencer, So it's just it's something where you just want to expose your message.
Yeah, of course.
Somewhere it's a platform to expose your message. Like you say, if one person, two people get inspired by it, then I've done, the mission completed, really, right?
Exactly that.
And that's what this is about as well. It's just exposing our messages, man. You know what I mean? Like with each other and stuff. So this is. I mean, again, appreciate you coming on and whatnot. So at least we can try and help a little bit. But what about? Because I know you've been we were talking, and you're in this hustle, doing this app, keeping yourself mad busy. What about you're talking about? Also keeping up with the personal training, you're helping still people right in this cold weather and whatnot. We were talking about the other day, it was like -5.
I think it was
to help people train. How is that going along? And how, you managed to keeping that up and whatnot.
It's good. I mean, it's something like the ideal day for a personal trainer would be get up 6 o'clock in the morning, train the clients. Train maybe good 6-7 clients would be nice. Be done by lunchtime, and then have the day to themselves to do whatever they want to do. So that's the ideal. That's what kind of personal trainers all over the world, I'm sure they would agree with me and say that's kind of what they want. Unless because then obviously if they have kids and stuff, they can go pick up the kids.
That's right. It's weird. Family, stuff like that, so. Sorry to cut you, but it's so weird that you say it, because when I think about my dream, I literally dream that same thing. Train a couple of people in the morning and chill the rest, not chill the rest of the day, but do my thing.
That is the dream for personal training. So, I feel that when you're a really good personal trainer, you have the you have the demand, right? People want to be trained by you because you're giving people results. And I think that doesn't come on day one. It doesn't come in the first year, unless you're crazy, like the best trainer being trained by some of the best in the world. That doesn't come straight away. So it's something obviously you need to build, like in any career, any industry, you need to build up that experience. You need to build up that, the value and what you have to offer. So I think I'm in that position where I'm in that position now. But actually, so personal training, let's start from before this virus came around. I was always trying to save money where I can. So I'm living in West London at the moment, and I train most of my clients in the sort of central London area. So we're looking at like the Knightsbridge, Mayfair, Hyde Park, those sorts of areas, Kensington. So I rather than getting the training, I got one of those e-scooters. But then the battery died, so I was like, it doesn't. I was like, so I ended up just like kicking it, like kick, when you push kick the scooter.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. So then I wanted to look at getting like an e-bike, just something that's easy, doesn't tire me out. I could get to just the bike. It's not that far from West London to Knightsbridge, but rather than getting sweaty and hot and being exhausted so early, even starting training, I decided to get an e-bike. So then I got one of these e-bikes literally like at the beginning. I ordered it, but it took like 3 months to come. So it came just as I think it was just before the first lockdown in March 2020. So I ended up just cycling. So I cycle to these clients. I sometimes train in the park, sometimes in private gyms and stuff like that, in studios. And that last week was a bit of a killer. So it was something where, was it last week? It was last week, right?
Last Saturday was -5. That's the coldest I've felt.
Crazy snow. So so I mean, it was the beginning. It was sort of like the beginning of the week where it wasn't as hard on the ground. So I think there was one day it was like -5, -6. Getting there, my hands were just freezing by the time, because by the time you get on the bike, obviously you're riding two, so it takes about half an hour. My hands are freezing. Then I got to stay outside, not really moving so much. So
because during this lockdown, you're doing it in the park and stuff. Like you've adapted things in the park and work. Yeah.
So I'm not really doing it inside. So I'm staying outside most of the day in the morning. I've got my hands just pain. It was just pain. I had to put my hands in my pocket. I had to do something to just warm them up. So it's difficult. And then obviously coming back home to start working on the app and doing design, and I have to kind of just stay inside, not move my hands for a while. But you do get that few minutes of pain, because your hands are now adapting to the heat inside. So you do get that sort of transition of pain, and it's just like so I ended up investing in heated gloves.
Oh, nice.
I'm not going through this again. I said
I can imagine. I mean, it's great that you're training people, like, again, during this COVID thing, so you're keeping people motivated and whatnot. And vice versa, they're kind of keeping you kind of busy as well. So it's great that you got that going on. So that's amazing. And in this cold weather as well, because like there's so many excuses. Lockdown, there's no gym. It's freezing. Like, let's not do. You know what I mean? There's so many excuses to make, but it's great that you can kind of push it still and get some of your clients on it as well, which is amazing.
Some of them, some of them still really want to train, but then there are a few of them that sometimes can't, and they do. So we just do online training. So it's good the fact that they're still training, and so we'll do like a Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, and I'll just be training them inside. So it's quite good that they still have that. They're still motivated and want to train. Makes it a little bit easier for them because it's all body weight as well. So it's just something they can go and keep at it, and keep consistent with it. So I even trained some clients in Hong Kong as well. Obviously.
Oh, wicked! So still training people out there, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, so I've built up a very good relationship with them. So so I'm still training a few of them online. It kind of works perfectly because they're 8 hours in front. So that's right. Obviously, if I've got the ideal slot 6 to 12 our time, it'll be kind of evening their time. So it works post work after them. So it'll be quite
good. Wicked. So with this mad schedule that you got going on, what about yourself, man? What's your routine like? Because you're obviously trying to keep yourself healthy and whatnot. I guess with diet, you got your missus who takes care of that stuff, right? Because she knows what foods to eat and not to. But what about your own training and stuff? What do you get up to, and how do you keep yourself fit?
That's a good question, because sometimes it's difficult, right?
I can imagine.
Just
with your busy schedule,
it's burning out. So I would probably say it's difficult. So I try to do three times a week. There was a time in Hong Kong, obviously before this craziness happened. But when we were in Hong Kong, I used to train twice a day. So I used to get in maybe 10 sessions a week. They were the glory days. They were the good days where you could just train anytime you want. I'll train in the morning, I'll train in the evening. But now I've had to kind of adapt the training to make the sessions a little bit more intense, but obviously shorter. So I'll train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe do a little bit of abs or something on Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is at the moment. So I try to train in the afternoon, just some time. Probably take about 45 minutes in the day to just get in some training myself. We've got a pull-up bar here, did some dip bars as well. Don't really need so much weight. There's so much that you can do without having to use barbells or dumbbells. I wanted to actually say before, so my wife and I, we qualified as animal flow instructors last year. So we did this course online. Obviously then you have to send off some videos, some assessment videos. You have to record yourself, and we both passed. So animal flow is kind of this new. Some people say it's kind of glorified yoga. Some people say it's very effective. But I mean the way I see it is it's a new way of training, and the body does adapt to something that you're doing consecutively, something consistently. Your body won't develop as fast as it should, so it's good to keep changing and keep challenging your body.
That's right.
So this and it goes into the point I was saying before, as where we grow older and we become tight in many different joints, and animal flow is all about trying to tap into being, not necessarily just being like an animal, but it's going back on the floor, trying to, back on your hands and knees and doing all these different exercises to just develop and open yourselves up. It's kind of like a mobility sort of functional. It's just a very functional way to train. And we've developed those sorts of exercises into the app. So that's something that you guys can look forward to. But yeah, so so we kind of do that sort of training. Sometimes we train together if the time works out. So that's quite nice as well. But yeah, it's difficult. It is very difficult, like it is for everyone. But you really just have to tell yourself, I need time you need time for yourself. You really need to say, look, I need time for myself. I'm gonna get in. It's giving myself like I said, it's going back to that scheduling. You're scheduling half an hour, 45 minutes. You only need maybe 20, 30 minutes just for yourself to just hit the training.
That's right.
Get into something. Make sure you're always working your core. That's the one thing I'd say. Just keep working the core, because that's something that the core recovers quite quickly, and you can develop that quite quickly as well. So if you keep hitting it, so that's what I would do. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to yourself, G, like how you were doing your MMA in Singapore. Like you were just constantly, and even before when this virus stuff happened, you were doing your yoga in the mornings, working from home. So that's a success in itself as well. Getting into something different that you didn't do before. So and that's the way people need to. I feel like people need to get on. Just try do something different, and just keep going with it. Try to set yourself up in your diary and just try and keep going.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I agree, because like I said, during this COVID time, there is so many excuses, and rather than everyone being healthy and boosting the immune system, I feel like a lot of people are doing the opposite, right? Not training, not eating healthy, maybe boozing and whatnot, and then the mental side of this shit ain't really helping either, the lockdown. So I'm always preaching to my family and whatnot. Take these vitamins and do some workout and whatnot. I mean, everyone has a different mentality, and you can't like really force. I think, we spoke about this before. Sometimes you can't, some people are just not on it, and you can't force it, right? And we have a different mentality, and, athletes have a different mentality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so we just got to understand where people lies. But I do think it's important, and the yoga has really helped me with my injuries mostly, man. Because every time I got an injury, it was always like, do this stretch. And I was like, that's a yoga stretch. That's a yoga. It's always kind of bound down to that. It was like, you do the recovery exercises and whatnot, and maybe a little massage breakdown, but it always ended up with this stretch, that stretch. And I remember hearing David Goggins. Have you ever read his book, or I haven't read his book, but have you ever heard him on podcasts and whatnot?
I've heard him. Yeah.
He like he does like every evening like a 2-hour stretch session, and I can't remember exactly the story what, but he had some kind of lump in his head, he was saying, right? And they couldn't figure out what it was, and then he ended up doing all these stretches and holding stretches for like fucking 30 minutes and whatnot, and this lump went in the back of his head. So I don't know what that is or what the background of is, but since then he just said he has the like 2-hour evening stretch session, and I just kind of implemented it. I don't do 2 hours, but the yoga has been part of my life since then, and I just see so much effect and benefits with that, especially with injuries.
It's helped me with my lower back since I started it during lockdown. So every morning I've been doing yoga as well. Not so early like Gilman, but I've realized, like, because I'm coming from a background where I put weight on and off. I've done martial arts training before. And then just did normal exercise just to keep healthy and then have a break. But I realized I had a car accident coming up 2 years now. It was a head-on collision.
Wow.
And it's done something to my back. It wasn't whiplash from here. It was like my lower back was gone completely. I couldn't basically lift myself to get out of bed. I had to roll out of bed.
Oh, I see.
So I did physio. They did scans and they say it's muscle damage. I keep thinking it's even deeper, but I've got another scan coming up soon. But then as I saw Gilman's post in the morning and he was doing more yoga and he was telling me, get it into your system. It will probably help you with the lower back. I started doing it every morning for the past 6 months, and I've realized it's taken away that tension.
Yeah, it's amazing form. And I used to, back in the days, right, people used to think like stuff like yoga and even like animal flow and all that, that's like women doing all that sort of shit. But back in 1993, Hicks and Gracie, the Gracies and whatnot, when they brought the UFC into the mainstream, MMA and whatnot, and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Hicks and Gracie was the baddest fighter on the planet, killing everyone. And then you see that documentary Choke, and he's doing all those yoga poses. He was big on yoga from days. So I'm just like, if the baddest fighter on the planet is doing that, then it ain't for women. It's legit. And even George St. Pierre, like, as I got more into MMA, like legends like George St. Pierre and loads of boxers, and then as you said, bodybuilders, they're all flexible. Like, it's a big part of like,
I think that stretching and like doing that to your body is recovery, isn't it? In a different way.
Yeah, and even the animal flows, like, Conor McGregor kind of he was doing it, when he was getting into it and stuff. And you've seen Ryan do it. Remember, Ryan Kabudokan, he was doing that stuff as well. And it's amazing. I can't move my body like that. I wish I could, but it's amazing for you, your spine and stuff.
It's the same as it's the same concept as these bodybuilders that kind of pose for the shows. So if everyone that's ever been into training, I'm sure has watched the film Pumping Iron, by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think it was at the very beginning, the first shot. I think it's Frank Columbo and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were posing with a ballerina. So the ballerina was actually showing them how to pose, how to bring their arms up, stuff like that. And even these top big guys are just they all have that element of trying to be flow and trying to be elegant on the show. And obviously that's just for posing as a bodybuilding show. But going back to that sort of ballerina concept, so you still have people like Jean-Claude Van Damme who did ballet growing up, and everyone loves Van Damme's films and the way he's able to do these roundhouse kicks, and that's all because of the ballet and that
got me into martial arts, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
He got me. His kick.
That's it.
His kicks did it for me.
He's one of my favorite though. He's one of my favorite.
Sure.
From back in those days, obviously you've got Rocky. Rocky's everyone's Stallone's everyone's crazy guy. But yeah, I really like Van Damme. Like kickboxer, blood sport, all those kind of things.
Yeah. You know what? I got to share a picture I did for somebody for their birthday, and they got it in the post today. And it was a picture of Van Damme in Bloodsport, and I've never drawn Van Damme before.
Oh, wicked! I didn't know that. Yeah.
So even to this day, my wife is like, "Why do you keep watching this film for?" And I'm like, "Because Bloodsport and Kickboxer, they resonate with me." So because they showed his form, innit? His form is sick. That kick that side kick and his spinning kicks
Yeah.
was the foundation of my martial arts.
That helicopter type. He used to do his jumping spinning kicks for like a helicopter.
So that exact kick though, because you know obviously he's now a bit older now, but you know he was in, I think he was in the Expendables 2 or Expendables 3,
that's right.
and he had to do that kick again.
Yeah.
And I think I remember reading something. It was like, I think he was in pain or something afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think that's because Stallone's directing the film.
Yeah.
And Stallone kept asking him to do it again and again and again. Because like he did, and I think he did that kick because you know, like Scott Adkins is kind of like a new
that's right.
kind of going up. So it was those two playing similar roles. I think they were one was like they're working together or something.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, even Scott Adkins and Jason Statham and all these kind of guys that are upcoming, they're all kind of like the Van Damme wannabes kind of thing. So,
they are.
Van Damme was still there and he still did the kick, and it was good to see.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
It was really good. It's really good.
He's still in good shape now, you know.
Yeah,
he is.
Compared to all the other guys around his age, he's kept it up. He's definitely kept it up.
Yes, definitely he has. I watch his Instagram videos. He's quite inspirational because he talks about health and he talks about regular exercise, and he's always pushing that. Yeah. And I'm like, I think my dude's coming up to what, 70 or something. You know,
I don't think he's that old, but he's definitely old.
But you have to check, man.
He's inspired loads. Yeah, again with the UFC fighters, obviously because I follow MMA. He's inspired loads of them, bro. I seen him training with George St. Pierre and the Diaz brothers and whatnot, teaching them that kicks and stuff. But he's definitely inspiration when it comes to that. And there's loads of people that say they've watched Bloodsport and wanted to get into martial arts. Because that movie's a classic. The 80s classics, but just the concept of it is so basic, but it's so awesome. It can never... Like, you can always keep watching it. There's something about it where you could just keep watching it and
listen to the soundtrack.
The soundtracks as well. You can't beat the 80s soundtracks.
I've got a song actually. I haven't got many, but I've got that Never Surrender. I don't know which one it's from. I don't know which one it's from.
Kickboxer.
No, the Kickboxer, yeah.
Yeah, it's from Kickboxer.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
That one when he has to stretch with the old man, right?
Yeah. But I'm trying to do... I've been trying to do the splits. I told Kibler I'm on a mission to try and get my splits back. So I've been doing it for like, what's it been, like 8 months now? But I can't do it. I'm doing it. I do it every day, but I see no improvement. But I'm not giving up.
The thing about this, because I'm similar. I'm not doing the splits, but I'm trying to do some more specialist, very advanced calisthenic skills. Because like muscle ups, I can do all day. Pull ups, very easy. All the kind of basic body weight stuff. But when it comes to doing the planche, so when you have your hands on the floor and you're elevating your legs parallel to the floor. So everything that's on the floor is your hands.
That's like a Bruce Lee thing, like the elevated V-lift type thing, yeah?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm doing stuff like the planche and back levers and stuff like that. So, but the thing about
what's back lever? Sorry, I'm not familiar with. Which one's the back lever?
A back lever, you've got a front lever and a back lever. So it's basically where you're holding the bar. Okay, so let's say the front lever is where you hold the bar and then you lift your body so your arms are straight on the pull-up.
Okay.
Parallel to the floor.
Yeah.
And the back lever is basically the same thing, but your arms are behind.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
The body's still straight. So I would say everyone seems to think. I think the back lever might be a bit easier. I'm actually attempting that just yet. I'm still trying to do the front lever and the tuck planche. So I'm doing like a planche, but I'm doing it tucked with my knees tucked underneath. So I can do that for a period of time, and I can also do the front lever for a period of time, tucked as well. But yeah, so these sorts of body weight things and like the splits and stuff, when you're training body weight, and I was telling my client this the other day, when you're training body weight training and doing any specific skills, or you want to see any progress, it does take a lot longer than if you were training using weights, because weights are that additional stimulus on the body, so you're developing your body more than what you would normally. But seeing the results a lot faster can also mean that you will lose the results a lot faster as well. So the thing about is, if you continue, I'm not saying obviously do one or the other, but it's good to include a bit of body weight, a bit of weights into your training once the gyms open up. But it's good to kind of build a very solid foundation to master your own body weight. Everyone I feel should be able to do a pull-up. You know, a man or woman, you should be able to do a pull-up because that's something that you it's mastering your own. It's mastering who you are. Have that, it's relative strength. You should be able to kind of lift yourself up. At least do one pull-up, supinated or pronated, doesn't really matter. So I think the results take a lot longer, but you just got to keep going with it. And then once you get there, it stays with you. It's a sustainable result.
That's what I told myself. Like, just don't give up. Just do it. So it's a part of my yoga routine every day. Just trying to get the box splits, and I add the front and back, the front splits as well. But it's taking time. But sometimes I think my main thing is to not tense and kind of relax. So I always kind of do breathing exercises and then breathing out. I just make sure just relax it. But I'm not giving up. Even if it never ever gets there, I'm just gonna keep trying to just expand the splits and whatnot. Yeah, man. Well, cool. Well, bro, look, I don't want to hold you up all night, man, because I think we can geek out and talk about this all night. Listen, I appreciate it, man, and thank you for kind of expressing your story and your passion, and it's great to see that you're just putting the work in, man, and that's inspiring to us. That can inspire other people. But I love the hustle, and every time we catch up, we always catch up about the progress and whatnot, and I never hear from you bro, I'm thinking of giving up. I've never heard that from you, years going on. So I love that, bro, and I appreciate it because it's very inspires me as well, man. So thank you, man. Appreciate it.
No, it's all good. Now, thank you for having me on, guys, man. So it's been a pleasure. It's good to hear about your stories, and so you're back. I'm definitely gonna keep in contact with you about your back because I want to see how that's getting on as well.
No, definitely. I will share that.
Okay. Once the app and once we in the future, let's get you back on, man.
Yes,
let's try and get Maya on and we at least geek out about the nutritionist, not that. But we'll do that.
But I'm gonna put there's gonna be some links in the description box to people who can get in contact with you and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that'd be great. It'll be in the description. If you're listening to it on SoundCloud, iTunes Podcast, Spotify, or you're watching our pretty faces on YouTube, everything will be in the description box, guys. Make sure you check it out. Josh, again, massive thank you for joining us this evening.
Good. Thank you, guys.
No, you're welcome. And be safe, man. Both of you guys be safe.
Thank you.
Hopefully get to catch up soon. Definitely.
I'm gonna get a little.
This was good fun, man. This is good fun. I like
this.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Before you log off, let's get a quick little